Hey everybody, it's Judy Klock, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Middletown, Virginia, coming to you with tonight's tutorial featuring not one, but two fun folds. When I started to make the first fun fold, as I made some cuts, I realized the pieces that I was cutting off could actually be turned into a second card. So we're going to make two fun folds tonight, just really using the one basic card I started with, and the cast off pieces are going to become a second card. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you what I'm going to be working with, and then we can make one card together. So I'm going to be using the new, this is coming, it's called the Silly Old Bear Suite, and it comes with the Sweet Old Friends bundle, which is the stamp set, which is Pooh and all his friends with the die cuts, and then the sweet words and labels, including Pooh's catchphrase, "Oh bother." So I think you're really going to like this, and the designer series paper is absolutely stunning. So let's take a look at tonight's fun fold and then the bonus fun fold. So this was the card that I started out making. It's just a diagonal cut card. But after I cut the card front and the designer series paper, I'm like, well, now I've got these two triangles. I can turn those into another card so I don't waste any of my paper. And I've still got a fun little fun fold here with this cute little insert that can just sort of be used as another card. So we're going to go ahead and make one, and then I'm going to show you some other variations that I made with some other sets. Now, the other sets I used, I kind of chose them intentionally. I'm going to show you one done with gears and textures, one done with the Sunset Coast bundle, and one done with the phrases and frames, because these are the sets that I'll be featuring in my new Crafty Clock Studio Circle, which I'll tell you more about later. But let's go ahead and let's make our cards. So I started off with our basic card. I got these two little die cuts I don't want to lose. So here's a fun fact. I dropped this little tiny die on my desk somewhere and I couldn't find it. So I thought, oh, if only I had a magnet. And I did, because I have a magnetic tray that I usually put all my dies in. So I turned the tray upside down and I just kind of moved it over my desk. And lo and behold, when I turned it right side up, I found my die. So that's my little pro tip for tonight. But we're going to start out with just our standard card base. This is that new Barely Blush. It's one of the new in colors. It's really just a very soft pink. I love the cardstock. I love the ribbon. Not going to lie, I think the ink pad, it's a little too light for stamping words, like for stamping sentiments. I think it'll be great for coloring and all those other things, but for stamping sentiments, I don't think it's the best. And actually, my card base is a little bit off. Wow. I don't know. I must have been crazy when I scored it. Looks like I'm like 1/8 of an inch off. Let's see if we can fix that, because we want it to be equal. That's better. All right, so now we're going to take our card base, our standard card base. Let me move my little die cuts out of the way. And I'm going to open it, and I want to take it, and I want to put the top left by that fold on the cutting track of my paper trimmer. And I want to put the bottom right corner, that point, in the track on my trimmer. So I'm just going to play with this. I'm going to hold one in while I kind of position the other. And then I am just going to go ahead and cut that diagonal off. Now, when I saw this piece, I said, I want to do something with it. So hold on to this piece, because we're going to use this piece for card 2. And then I have here a piece of our designer series paper. Now, this design doesn't really matter because it's not a one-way design. But this one is a one-way design. Excuse me. And I have to decide which part I want to use on my second card. So I think I want this half. So I'm going to put it in with my top right in my track and my bottom left. Okay. Because that's the piece I want to use on my second card. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put that aside for now. Now this piece is a little bit long. I made it at 5.5. So I just want to shave off like just the tiniest bit to make it a little bit shorter. And now we're going to go ahead and that becomes our front. Oh, I think I have to cut off just a little bit more. I don't think I cut off quite enough, but that's okay. That's why we can trim it again. Oops, that's my scoring blade. All right, let's see if this will work now. So that's perfect. I've got that just where I want it. Now for the inside, I cut a piece of our crumb cake to 5 1/4 by 4 and I embossed it. Now the 100 Acre Woods embossing folder is really a very deep 3D folder. And the first time I did my cardstock, I actually kind of cut it where I guess this is like a river or whatever that line is. So then I spritzed it with water, which helped keep it from, ripping. I think of the words. We're going to go ahead. We're going to put this on the inside. I don't know how many. Oh, you know why? Because it's not my new bottle of ink. I'm like, why? I think that one's empty. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put this in. This is just one of our standard layers. Okay. So there we go. All right, there we go. Now we've got another insert. This is what I'm calling our second insert. It's right here. I lost it for a minute. This is going to go on the inside. And then that's going to actually come and sit on the front of that diagonal fold. But let's go ahead. Let's put on our designer series paper on that diagonal cut. But isn't this pretty paper? I love the Pooh Bear. This would make a great baby card. If you know somebody who's having a baby, a great card for a new baby. Okay. I've got a piece of our basic white. That's going to go on the inside of this piece. Okay. Move that out of our way. And then you remember I had those little die cuts? Now, I backed these die cuts with adhesive sheets first because one, this has the slits in them, so the glue will actually come through if you use liquid glue. So I thought the adhesive sheets would be the smarter way to go. A weeding tool, it's not just for weeding vinyl. Okay, we're going to put the honey pot there, and then we're going to have the honey drippings. And this is that new Golden Glow in color. And again, this piece is so little that, again, I did the adhesive sheet on the back of it just because this was going to be really little to try to put liquid glue on. So I love adhesive sheets for just this reason. And there, now we've got our little honey pot in there. No fuss, no muss. Let's go ahead and add this to the inside of our card base. So you didn't have to emboss that crumb cake cardstock, but I just thought it looked pretty. Gave it the card just a little bit more texture. And all of the information with the measurements and how I did everything and all the variations will be on the inspiration sheet in my inspiration library. Now that is available to subscribers. It's $5. Right now you can get the founding member price of $5 a month when you sign up, but that's only till April 10th. I wanted to age this a little bit, so I'm just going to add some pecan pie to the edge with a dauber. And I just thought this would, I don't know why, I just thought it would make it look a little bit more antique-y. Is that a word? I don't know. I just thought with the Pooh Bear, it just would help just kind of tie everything together. All right. So you can do as much or as little as you want. I'm going to put that out of the way. This then goes on to the front of our card. You can see this goes together pretty quickly. I think sometimes it's just deciding what elements you want to use on it. And then I cut one of these panels from the designer series paper, and we're going to die cut it with the matching die. Now I did find out that this die really fits one way. It just fits better one way than the other. So we're going to go ahead and bring in our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Okay, and we're going to put this on. I'm going to use a piece of tape. There it is. I have this 3M tape, which is great for kind of holding the die in place. Now I'm going to line this up, maybe, if I can get it to cooperate. Okay. Looks good. I'm going to use my tape to just kind of hold that in place a little bit. Put my top plate on. And here we go. And I like this because this one I can use with the mini. So different machines, different jobs, but they all work together. All right, now we've got this lovely die cut. I'm going to take that off carefully. Okay, we've got our lovely die cut. And again, I kind of wanted to age it, I guess, to give it that little bit of a patina. So I'm going to come back here with my pecan pie, and we're just going to go around the edges of our die cut. Again, just to give it that little bit of an aged look. Oh, they make it look so easy in all the videos, don't they? But it doesn't take much. And again, you can go as light or as dark as you want. Put as far in as you want. You can do just a little bit. You can do a lot. Doesn't really matter. All right, we've got that done. Let's go ahead and add this to the front of our card. I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals. And again, this is a pretty big piece. So I'm going to use a few of the dimensionals just to make sure that it doesn't flop anywhere. I've seen people do it where they just kind of stab it and take these all off. I don't. I seem to be doing okay now, but there you go. There's always one that gives you a little bit of a problem. All right, let's go ahead and add this. I don't need that piece right now. I'm going to add this to the front. Okay, now I have here a little piece of white, or basic white. This is probably, I don't know, a half an inch. It was really literally just a scrap that I had. But I'm going to stamp "You Deserve a Little Treat." I'm going to stamp it here. Okay, and then we are going to take a scissor and just kind of cut it on an angle. And that is our first card. Now, I'm not sure where I want to put it on my sample card. I put it across the bottom because I wanted to show Pooh reaching up to get the honey jar. Now, this one is a little bit different because the honey jars are down here. So I think I'm just going to kind of put this up here on an angle, right, so that we can still see the larger part of the image. So I'm going to come in with just a little bit of tape. And I'm going to put that right there. You deserve a little treat. And that is our first card. Now, remember, we had these two pieces that we cut off that we are going to use to make a second card. That's our bonus card. So again, I have just a quarter of a sheet of our cardstock. That's going to be our base. I've got another piece for our insert. I die cut some labels already. And I have our 2 cast off pieces. Now again, this one I didn't want to leave blank. I do want to emboss it. So I am going to spritz it with just some water. I'm going to move everything else out of the way so that we don't get water on anything but this piece. And not a lot, just a little bit, because I want to emboss it with that 100 acre wood embossing folder. All right, for this one we need the big baby. And the reason why is because it's a very big embossing folder. Now, the embossing folder actually is in the landscape mode. So when you put your paper in, make sure you have it turned to landscape so that when you put it in, you will get the design going the right way. I keep hitting my mirror, my camera. All right, let me move that. Here we go. Okay. All right. So now we have that piece. And again, that just adds a little visual interest to the card. So let's go ahead and put our card together. Now for this one, I'm just going to put a little thin line of glue along the straight edges, not along the diagonal cut, because that's going to be what we use to form our pocket. So just along these straight edges. Come on, glue, don't fail me now. Okay, so just a little bit. And then I'm going to put this onto our quarter sheet. Make sure your edges are even. Okay, and the liquid glue will also give you just a little bit of extra time to make sure everything is in place. Now my point is a little bit over. I'm just going to trim that off. I'm going to do the same thing with this cardstock. I'm sorry, with this designer series paper. Glue just along that straight edge. Okay, and same thing, we're going to do it on the opposite side. Again, nothing on the diagonal cut side. Again, make sure. And again, we're a little bit over, so I'm just going to trim off that top point. Boom. There we go. Now we've got our little labels here. We're going to stamp on one of them. I don't think I brought over the old olive. So, oh, I did. I did bring it over. Yay me. I remembered. Well, it said old friends are the best friends. I think they mean old as in long standing, not old as in age, but I guess it could be either. And we're going to, again, do the same thing. We're going to add a little bit of that ink to the edges just to kind of add that patina of age to these. And we're going to do it both to our white and to our old olive. I'm all about this. I don't know why this set just seemed to cry out for this aging look. And I don't know why. Maybe because Pooh Bear's been around for eons. I don't know. But I just thought this was the set that needed this. What do you think? Does it need it? Not need it? Let me know. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. If you think this set kind of needed this little dusting of color around it to age it a little bit. All right, now we're going to put this, the white one, onto the green one. Okay. And then we're going to add some dimensionals. Now remember, on these, we want to put dimensionals on each side and on the bottom. Nothing on the top, because that might interfere with the pocket where we're going to stick our insert. Okay, so we've got that, and we're just going to put this here. And now for our insert, I have a piece of our basic white. I'm going to punch a hole in the top. And this is, now if you wanted to stamp on this, you certainly could. There's no reason why you can't stamp something on there. But I'm going to take a piece of our Barely Blush ribbon, about, I don't know, about 4 inches, 4.5 inches. It doesn't have to be very big. Okay, and then we're going to need a piece of our baker's twine. I'm actually going to cut this after I tie the bow. That's an old spool, but we still have it. It's still available. It comes in like a pack of 5 now. All right, I'm going to thread this through my hole. There we go. Now, when you go through, make sure that you kind of keep the ribbon a little bit flat. You don't want to have it really curling up too much. And then we're going to take our twine. I'm going to go the other way. Why is it that when you're doing this live, you can never really think about this? But I love this set. This is the set I'm using for my June workshops. And like I said, you can sign up for the Crafty Clock Studio Circle and have all 4 months of the workshops ready for you. And you can choose from in-person, virtual, with that includes like the kits to make 8 cards, or you can choose from like the video and tutorial only, the pre-recorded video and the tutorial. The virtual, you get a live Zoom with me, plus the recorded, plus the tutorial, plus the kits. And obviously in person, you get to come here and stamp with me in my studio and just have a jolly good time. All right, because really crafting, it's all about the community to me. And there is a seat for everyone in the Crafty Clock Studio. So let me go trim this. Okay, let's trim these. Okay. And then this slips kind of right in there. And that is the second bonus card. So we cut once and we got to make 2 cards because we used those pieces that we cut from our main card. So how great is that? That we get to make 2 cards out of really just what turned out to be 1 design, then became 2. Because I really liked this design. And then when I saw these 2 pieces that were cut off, I'm like, yeah, I could do something with those. So that's how we did it. So there's really no waste on this card at all. We're using all the paper that we cut. All right, let's see what else. So in May, I'm doing the gears and textures. So we did the same thing. We kind of made our own background paper using those great shapes from the gears and textures. Same idea. Here's another one. We did it again. We took it off and we have that little insert that goes in with our thank you card. So that was our second design. June is going to be the silly old bear. Then in July, we're going to work with our scenic coast. How pretty is that? This paper is gorgeous. It's kind of like iridescent. You really have to see it in person to truly appreciate it. It's amazing paper. Then I add a little bit of embossing here. And so then there we go. A little design on the inside. That is the first one. Here is our second one. Now this was interesting. I was trying to use my blending brushes and the colors in this paper to kind of mimic it. It came a little bit darker. So I thought, well, that would be pretty to cut the seashells out of. So I die cut the seashells from the paper that I had colored with blending brushes. This one, because I had a white background and a white insert, I backed it on a piece of balmy blue. So that's the other one. And then lastly, in August, we'll be using phrases and frames, which again is a lovely one. So we've got here, happy birthday wishes. Have a fabulous day. This beautiful designer series paper. Again, I did a little bit of, so I colored on the white with the brayer first, and then I ran it through an embossing folder and then did the brayer over to kind of make that design pop. And there we go. We've got that one. And this is the one from the cast off pieces. Did a little bit of heat embossing with the thinking of you again, because I had a white base. I backed the white insert on a piece of the peaceful pine. That is one of the new colors. So those are our cards for tonight. Like I said, cut once, get 2 cards. This is our main card. This is our bonus card. You can see that it will work with a variety of stamp sets, because we've got just phrases and frames. We've got the scenic coast, where we've got those beautiful seashells, and I did the embossing to kind of mimic the waves. We've got the textures and gears, which is just kind of a very abstract look. And then we've got this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous silly old bear with Pooh and friends. So I hope that you like this fun fold. I hope that you like the idea of using those cut off pieces to create a second card. I will leave the link to my studio circle in the description. I would love to have you join me, whether you join me virtually, in person, or for the guided workshop only. I would just love to have you. There is a seat for everyone at the crafting table at Crafty Klock. That's it for me, everybody. Have a great evening. Have a good night. I will be back next week. Bye now.